Hello, my name is Randy, and not only do I need a better camera or lighting or something to stop the warblies coming off of the neon sign of my name, but I'm also a game industry technical writer and a video game developer. And I'm here to give you some advice about feedback, about game development feedback, feedback for your games, about your games, people playing your games. I want to talk about it. And I'm also going to react about it. So that's going to be fun. Let's go ahead and get started. So just a quick overview. I'm going to give you some advice on feedback. As I mentioned, I'm going to give you a shameless plug for my game, which I did not mention, but that's coming. So be prepared for that. Get your skip thing ready. And then I'm going to give you a video demonstration of a feedback session I got from a friend of mine. And I'm going to kind of talk over it and talk about how it kind of shaped the development process since then. And let's get started. So get feedback for your game early and often. As soon as you have something to play, people should be playing it. Somebody should be playing it. Whether it's a developer, a friend, a family member, whatever it is, somebody should be taking a look at it and giving you feedback. You should, and preferably, you watch them play it so you can understand what your game experience is like. For smaller projects, it helps you get better at making games. If chances are you're sticking to smaller projects because you're kind of new to it and you trying to get used to it, and getting feedback just makes you better at it. It's just a fact of life. And it's also fun and fulfilling to see people playing something you created. Even if it's bad feedback, the first time I watched someone play a game that I made, I was like, man, that's cool. I created. I'm like, God, I did that. Someone is moving stuff on the screen that I put there. That's pretty awesome. For bigger projects, maybe you're kind of used to this process by now and you want to take on a little bit of a more ambitious project. Well, you need to get feedback early and often because you need to know if it's something even worth pursuing. If you make a prototype and it's not good, it's good to learn that early on so you can move on. And if you are knee deep in it and you make a new feature or something like that and you get feedback for that feature and they say, yeah, this needs to be changed, the further along you are in that process, the harder it's going to be to double back and adjust things. So it's really good to get feedback basically at all times. But for all projects, you yourself as a game developer, you get my finger in the camera, you are blind and biased. And what I mean by that is that you believe in your project and you're experienced with it, so you're good at it. You know what the experience is supposed to be like, so you're playing to adhere to that. But not everybody else is, so it's really good to get a dose of reality watching people that don't have those biases playing your game. And you can also just get some great feedback by watching them play. They don't have to say anything. You can just watch. Oh, they're not doing what they're supposed to do here. Well, you know that needs to be changed. Some notes on feedback. It can help you see things differently, but that should not be the end all be all. You should not completely just say, oh, this feedback completely changes the course of how I'm going to make this game. That's not necessarily true in all cases. In fact, a lot of cases it's not, because not everyone is capable of giving you good feedback at certain stages of development, or at all, but definitely in certain stages. My wife, for example, when I came up to with the concept for the game that's shown there, it's a puzzle game called Pounds of Piranha, which I'll put a link in the description if you want to play that. I believed in it as soon as I came up with it. I'm like, yes, I totally get it. I get the game loop. I know what the challenge is going to be like that. It was great. I explained it to my wife, and I was super excited about it. She's like, I don't get it, and that's not helpful because I knew what it was going to be like, and I knew it was going to be fun, but she's not equipped with that verbiage to understand what makes that a good experience. So it wasn't until we had something to play that she understood it. So it's not necessarily, she's not the best source of feedback at that stage of development, but later on, absolutely she would be. Also, people that don't understand or care about bugs in your game, probably not good to show off very early on, and because chances are you're going to have bugs in your game. And a lot of people understand that. Hey, it's early. Be prepared to experience bugs, and a lot of people understand that. A lot of people don't. If you look at game development discourse out there, I guess I should say people that play games, the discourse from them, they complain about bugs as if they understand how it works, and they don't. So it it's probably good to get someone that is forgiving and understanding about bugs early on when you're getting feedback. Unless you can just get an experience that has no bugs or very few, which is tough early on in development. Also, not all feedback is good for your game. And what I mean by that is that sometimes you'll get feedback that sounds good on paper, but is not aligned with your vision of what your game is. And a really good example is, and after this session that I'm going to show you later, new game dev who was the one playing it told me that, hey, you should have enemies in your game, you should have combat, and that's just not what this game's about. And I like combat. I think combat is fun. I'd like to do combat maybe in my next game, but not for this one. That loses focus about what I'm going for. And I appreciated the feedback, but it's gone because it's not going to fit in my game. Not all feedback is good for your particular game. And at the end of the day, it's your game, it's your decision, right? This is my game. I don't want combat. I don't care if you want combat. This is my game. So keep that in mind, because just because you hear something, and even if it was the popular opinion, if it goes against what you believe in the game, and you could be right. If you are the 1% and 99% are telling you that it's wrong, you could still be right if your vision is strong enough and you understand what you're going for. So here's the shameless plug that I mentioned. If you want to skip ahead, go ahead, but I'd rather you didn't, because this is the game that you're going to see in the video demonstration. This is incorporeal. I'm proud of it. The art is not final, but hey, the core of the game is there, and you're going to see a lot of it in the prototype video, and I think it's really cool, and I think you should wish list it because it would help me out, and I think I wouldn't be asking you to do it if I didn't think you'd have a good time with it once it gets released. So put that on your wish list. The link is in the description. I apologize if I sound a little nasally. It's cold season, baby. We're in it. So now here's the video, the aforementioned video that of new game dev playing my prototype and giving me feedback. I'm going to play that video for you, pause intermittently, and kind of go over the stuff that helped me shape it, because I wanted to remain as quiet as possible while he played it. So now, with the benefit of hindsight, I want to go and kind of explain how I took the feedback into consideration when I was developing my game. And new game dev is a game developer himself. You should check out his YouTube channel. It's right there, and it's in the description. He makes cool tutorial videos, but more importantly, he will understand if he runs into a bug, because he knows that bugs are just a part of the deal. And I know I said I do minimal editing. That is true, but I think there's going to be long parts where I'm not saying anything. Those will be gone. I will remove those. So without further ado, let's do this thing. This is it.
All right, so don't hover over anything with your mouse, because if you do, it's going to mess up.
Immediately going to pause, because I told him to. I started this video by saying, like, I'm not going to talk much, but right there, if he had done what I told him not to do, it would have stopped the playtest short, because he would have broken the game. If there's something that is going to break the game, that you have my permission to speak up. But otherwise, you should try to remain as quiet as possible.
All right, so I'm not going to say anything other than if you're absolutely stuck or if you have any development-related questions. But
fair enough.
Preferably, I want to see your unbiased attempts at this thing.
Very important.
Okay.
If there's if I notice anything that is going to prevent you from proceeding, I will
Very good.
in.
Yeah.
But
the echo is charming.
So he brings up the echo that this video does not have sound because he was sharing his screen and we didn't have that set up. But this prototype is kind of showing off all of the stuff that I have implemented, and what he just saw, or heard, I should say, was that there are footstep sounds and they change dynamically based on the screen he's on. I added an echo because he transitioned to a new wider screen. A good idea for your prototype is to kind of just show off the potential of what your game could be.
So on I think that I have the Logitech PlayStation ripoff PC controller.
Okay.
Which I'm just trying to see which correspond. I don't remember Xbox, PlayStation.
So a good point of feedback here is that he does not have a controller that I listed there. So is it worth putting in a dynamically changing tutorial prompt? Probably, because if he's got a controller that is not one of those three, it is possible that someone else, and likely someone else, will have a controller that is similar. Chances are most people are going to figure it out for my game, just because the nature of it is that there aren't that many buttons to press, so they will press it. He already figured out jump up to this point, but just to be safe, it might be good to make sure that you're covering all your bases.
And B,
Actually, a smart way to have done this would have been to put like that icon with 4 buttons and then highlight the bottom button, because that's universal. The south button at the bottom, if you got a controller here, I could just have this as like an icon on the screen and then highlight that button right there and just say like, hey, that's jump. And that would cover all of them, right?
yeah.
Another good thing is to tutorialize by forcing them to do what you're telling them they can do. That you have to have a stronger jump to make it over that jump.
Yay. Oh.
Same
His
here.
head
This
on
is
the
an
ceiling.
even further
Should add a little bonk
escalation
noise.
of the strong
Yeah,
jump.
reminiscent of something.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna see if there's anything down here. Okay.
Yeah, you think I added secrets for the prototype demo? I mean, I guess it's possible.
So that is a good piece of feedback right there. Like just because you could go down there means he thought there was something down there, and that's I run into that when I'm playing games all the time. Oh, they made this area, so that means there's got to be something in here, and it's frustrating when there's not. It would probably be a good idea to put something, anything, just like a little Easter egg, anything down there, just to say like, hey, good job for checking it out when you didn't need to.
It'd be only fitting. It's not as hard as Batman yet, but we're got the right idea. Amen. Guessing. Get me up there.
So right here is a good point as well. Like he saw the elevator go up, but he did not expect it to come back down right away, and there was too long of a pause between when it came back down. So he started to get impatient and think he did something wrong. So that's a good thing to address too once I get there.
Okay.
And right there, like he got really close to falling into that pit when he shouldn't have. He needs to be warned that there's a pit coming. So that pit should be further out or farther out. Mix those two words up, further and farther. That needs to be farther out. So if he were to just be transitioning into that screen, he has enough time to react and stop. He just barely did not fall in the pit, and that would have been frustrating for him if he's like, I didn't even know that was there, and I just fell in.
I did want to see that, to be honest.
He did that one on purpose.
And it worked.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice
Ah,
tricking.
So that one was on him, I think.
Gimme on that one. You should have eaten it.
Yeah, I
It
even
was
thought
just
so.
my lightning fast reflexes that saved me.
Must be what it was.
A good thing to be thinking is he having the intended experience? It seems like right there, that room, he did
small
what I
child
expected
in
him
me
to.
that wants to go as fast as possible and will probably die as a result.
Yeah, that's for later. You speed run it.
Yeah. Nope, not so good. I think I'll have to.
So right there, he thought he had to do something to solve it. This is about the point of the game where I think he should have a little bit of trouble. So I was okay that he did not figure it out right away. You got it. There's a balance there between, okay, is he going to figure it out? If he spends all day on this, then obviously that's a problem. But if he just tries to mess up and trial and error, that's okay. That's kind of what I'm intending at this point.
Intuit the momentum. But I feel okay.
So right there, he actually solved it in a way I did not intend, and I need to know if I want to address that or not. I intended for you to just be able to run, and I run over those two platforms, and I think the way I would address that is make sure the platforms actually touch. I'm surprised he pulled that off, but that was not how he was supposed to solve it.
So now that you're past it, you could just you figured it out another way, which is cool that worked. But you can just walk over it.
Oh, you did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crap. I hate you now.
Yeah, if your game's getting compared to the NES version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you might want to address it, because that's not a good game.
It's nice that the little jump works though in your case. So
Yeah,
actually,
it does
yeah,
work.
you improved upon that.
It is better than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the NES.
Okay, so we don't have that platform crap because it's hard to program.
It is hard to program. It is
Yeah,
shockingly hard to program.
I think there are templates for that. Whew.
In theory,
So what he's referring to there is, you know how in a lot of platform games you can jump up through the bottom of thin platforms. That is surprisingly hard to get working in a way that it feels good. So I just left it out, and I don't think my game's going to have it. You figure out what's in your capability and what matters for your game. That is not what matters for mine. What I would probably do next time though is make those platforms thicker, so it really really looks like you can't jump through them. Right there, those are thin, so it kind of looks like you can jump through them, and that's true of the platforms on the last screen as well.
Yeah.
just
Oh,
playing
I
around with
didn't
yeah,
die.
just playing with the camera there.
A like blood curdling echo. Since you've got the echo effect, the blood curdling scream would be
Yeah,
amazing there.
that's what I was kind of going for. Yeah,
So the fact that he's kind of falling into place about what I'm going for when the full game comes out is a good sign. Like, hey, you should put this here. That would add a really cool effect. And I had already intended to do that, so he kind of got the experience that I was trying to get just for that little brief moment. And that's a really good sign that I'm on the right track for that.
Nice. I already know a little about your game, so I'm like realizing you haven't shown us Ghost yet.
So what he mentions here is that he's played the game jam version of this game, so he understands what I'm about to show him. In the game jam version, you have all the abilities up front. In this one, I am actually introducing the abilities intermittently down the road. I'm interspersing them out, and he's confused. He sees the lights and he knows like, oh, I remember your game mechanics, so I assume that's coming. In an ideal world, he's coming into this fresh, but it's okay.
I need to get some place like over there.
Okay, so the main mechanic of the game is that you can turn into a ghost, and your ghost allows you to different abilities than your human form does. And I wanted to make sure that you understood the thing that I'm trying to teach you before you leave this room. You have to use the ghost to get across that gap. There's no way around it. And he figured it out quickly because it's not that complicated, but that's important that people know how to play your game before they move on. This is a reinforcement of that thing that he just learned. You cannot be the ghost inside the light.
Well, I guess I wasn't quite high enough. In fact, I know.
For prototype purposes, and I'm going to run into this a few times, this is fine, but the difficulty escalated very, very quickly. He just learned the ability, and now he's being put to the test. You need to have some cushion there, and the final game will. But this is just to show off, hey, this is what you could be doing at some point.
Because I died.
Yeah, as I'm watching this, each one of these little hazards can be its own separate room as the player is building up to a deeper and deeper challenge. That part where he jumps over that spike, that could have just been a hallway, and that would have been a decent enough challenge for him to get it. Each one of these could have been spread out, and instead I crammed all of my ideas into one room, and it's just, yeah, you don't need to do that. But for a prototype, it's okay.
Come on now.
Another note on that: if you remember how I said that you're biased, it's because I was getting bored of my own game. He's not. This is all new to him, so I didn't need to throw everything at him all at once. And again, this is the major piece of feedback that I got watching him play, was that, man, I could have spread all of this out and he would have been entertained for way longer than the length of the prototype, which was already pretty long. This video is about 30 minutes, so dang, he could have we could have spread this out for an hour or more, and that's almost the length of the entire game that I want. So there you go.
Oh, you will. Okay.
We ran into our first bug, and that's okay. He understands. He's a game developer. You want to try. Obviously, if I didn't know that was there, and I don't think I did, I now know it's there, and I will go and fix it.
Was that a deliberate physics thing?
no, I'm not sure what happened there.
Whoa. Well, it bounced off it appeared that because I didn't press a direction, so I'm assuming it's somehow I bounced off
Yeah, there
here.
might be a little tiny bit of a collision thing going on between the spike and the floor. I'll have to look
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah, even better having him as a developer play this because he is now giving me suggestions about how to fix it. Not everyone that plays your game is going to have suggestions about how to fix it. Chances are you don't even need suggestions about how to fix it, but in this case, it was helpful.
Well, I went right up against the wall, so obviously I just have to go over a little bit. But
Yeah, I mean that'll get you there, but in a perfect world that doesn't happen. Well, I'll have to.
yeah, well that's why we're doing this, right?
Exactly. It is amazing that I did not run into that because I would have gone up against the wall too.
Well, I guess you have to aim for here, so you have a
Yeah.
little incentive not to. Whew, tight.
Yeah, the fact that I never ran into that shows you the importance of playtesting. In no universe would I have thought that would have happened. I'm still to this day, I probably fixed it by now, but I truly could not tell you why that happened, unless that is not the object that I think it is. But it's crazy that I never ran into that while playing on my own. Something very simple. That's how important this stuff is.
Mm,
And once again, I needed to have spread this stuff out. There is so much in that room.
okay.
So if it was not clear, you cannot fly up and down when you're the ghost, but you can fly left and right indefinitely as long as you're not within the light. The light you cannot turn into the ghost, and if you are the ghost, you turn back into a human and you'll fall. So that's where the challenge is. He has that in his head that like this is what I know I'm capable of doing, and here's the challenge that I'm being asked. How do I apply my capabilities to the challenge? And that's exactly the intended experience I wanted him to have. So this was good.
Ooh,
That was on purpose, totally. Yeah.
it looked cool.
My zeal
Showing
got.
off by not making progress.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, no, you know what you have. Incidentally, you have the platforms directly.
So I'm not sure I like this. On one hand, he's messing up the challenge, and he's getting saved at the bottom. But at the same time, I kind of want him to pay for it. He should probably die if that happens. Um, I would, without having redesigned this room since this recording, I may put spikes in the middle or make this into two separate rooms where you have to do it twice or something along those lines. I'm not thrilled that he keeps getting saved by that platform on the bottom. Maybe I could have the platforms alternate too, to make it harder to catch. But he's messing up. He should pay for that. Which again is not anything that I ran into while playing because I'm good at it. I never messed up on this room, so I didn't anticipate him falling and landing on the bottom platform.
Yeah, okay, I can't do that. So I could just go down there and die. So can you get out of that is the question.
Without dying, you could have gone to the left and land on the lower platform again.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, but again, I don't like that he was landing on that lower platform. So what I would probably do here is that giant block of not light that is on screen right now, I'd probably make that completely lit so you couldn't turn into the ghost there. And if you fell, unless you caught yourself in that little stretch there, you would fall into the spikes because I don't like the fact that he would be floating into nothing. I did cover my basis that he won't get stuck. There's light on both sides, but he messed up. He messed up. He should pay for it. This is not a big room.
What's with the sparklies now that were not there
That's a
before?
bug. I
Okay,
cannot figure that out. That's
weird.
part
I did figure that out and I resolved it.
of the revive thing. I think there's a combination if you revive and die or something around the same time. There's some kind of something that's not despawning the effect. So
I
that
see.
might be there forever now.
It
It
is.
doesn't look too bad, but it will have people wondering.
Yeah, it's on the to-do list. It's on my Jira.
Yeah, we.
All right, so now that he's completed that room, that was like the third room since getting that ability, and how hard that was for him. So I know that the difficulty escalation is going up faster than I would expect. So in hindsight, I would have spread this out more, or put easier challenges, or take the rooms and separate them into separate hallways to pad it out more. The fact that he went from getting the ability and within 5 minutes struggling is, I don't think that's good pacing.
Hmm.
I should have
This
been timing this,
just
but I guess I'm recording it, so I'll know how long it is.
yeah. I want to get down there, but I know I. It just reminds me of Super Pit.
Okay, so another thing that I don't like, he sees that hallway down there, which to me in my brain I'm like, oh, it's cool. It kind of looks interconnected, but in his mind, he thinks he can get down there because his ability allows him to fly around and stuff like that. And it looks like a place you can go. What he doesn't know is that he was already there. The idea was like, oh, you're just twisting and turning in this labyrinth, but he sees it as like a secret that he can't access. I would fix that. I would make it so you can't see that. Intended experience. He sees the challenge and is kind of anxious about it.
The luminescent version of Thwomps.
That's actually kind of neat. Yeah.
I'm really, really trying hard to limit my scope. Every time I keep thinking of ideas of powers and stuff that I can do, and it's like, nope, can't. Not this time.
Yeah, so I guess that previous stretch there I felt was too long, and I feel like he got the idea in the first one, so I would probably just axe one of those and have him do it once and speed it up a little bit.
Maybe not yet.
Yes.
This room is bugged. I can just without even seeing it. The fact that there's a little patch here. I don't know if you can see my mouse that does not have light on it means that he could just fly right through that. You don't know this about your skills yet, but if you did, you would be able to fly right through that wall, which would break the entire game. So again,
I do get the classic, like, oh my god, I have to be careful because of the slight momentum field, which I knew that would happen, of course, but
intended experience.
The momentum is intentional.
Yes.
Oh, there's a bug.
So right there, he discovered it, and when I was sitting there watching him play, I did not know that was there until he ran. I don't know how I missed that, but yeah, totally, that makes perfect sense based on the rules of the game. That he shouldn't be able to do that.
Okay.
Well,
Playtesting.
Curious what's going to happen here. Nothing. You're just going to have to go back.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about what I was supposed to do. Because the momentum got me over here.
This was not intended to be as hard to figure out as it turned out to be. I would have to address this, and I could easily just by putting some lights in here or separating this stuff out. But he should be a little stumped, but not this stumped. At this point, he should have figured it out.
Oh, I think I see.
Okay, another thing that I don't want to happen, unintended experience. He figured it out, but he did not pull off the button presses in time. I don't necessarily mind that occasionally. The stretch at the bottom there is supposed to be a little tight, but I don't like that he messed it up on that part, which was supposed to be the easier part to kind of teach you before the bottom part. The fact that he messed that up means he's really going to have a hard time at the remainder of this room. So again, I would probably spread this out and get him to practice more before I threw this challenge at him.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
That was it, though.
All right, he figured it out. He did whiff it at the end, and I feel like that was on him. I don't think he would have felt that was unfair if this were the full game. So I kind of like that little bit of challenge there at the end. He messed up. He knows what he did.
Yep, I see what you did there and what I did there.
All right, so it looks like when you die by I don't know.
Well, by going through a collider, maybe. Should that kill me?
Probably not.
It's a little harsh because it's similar to
like I said, there's supposed to be a light there. I must have accidentally deleted that, but there should be a light.
Well, I mean here.
As in, you think I should remove those spikes just in general?
Well, it seemed like I was lower than this.
So he's offering me suggestions, and that's great and fine, but immediately I can see how to resolve that. Again, you don't have to take all feedback as gospel. I would, right now, today, looking at that, I would put a light there, and he wouldn't be able to transform at that section. It would remove this problem.
But like when I tried to go into this sliver to get myself to drop, and it killed me on the spike bottom.
Yeah, my guess is that the spike or the bottom that is not spike is on the spike layer when it's not supposed to.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's probably what happened there. So
yeah.
Short answer, no, that should not have killed you. long answer, there's supposed to be a light there anyway, so you're not even supposed to be able to turn into anything right
Okay.
there.
Hmm. All right. So now let's. Reminds me a little bit of the end of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
All right, you're not encouraging me by making those comparisons.
Well, I only it's only the corridor.
All right, so number one, he compared it to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles again, which I can only take so far because he loves the turtles. So it's not necessarily he's not necessarily saying it as an insult. But also he died in the exact same way again, and now that he figured it out, he's just going to get frustrated. Maybe not him, but players would get frustrated. I figured it out. I just need to pull it off, and this is the second time I haven't been able to. In a perfect world, someone would figure it out and then have the ability to pull it off. At least have a minimal a punishment if they can't. The fact that he has to go through that stretch twice to get back there is not ideal. Again, I would got to spread it out. He's been on this screen for a very long time too, so I'm not thrilled with this screen. I like the idea, but the execution's not there yet.
That was perfect.
Yeah, it's still unnerving, which is good.
Yeah, it's good that he got unnerved and anxious. There should be a little bit of tension when you're playing and going through the challenges and you're in midair and you're trying to execute stuff. Again, that he took way too long on that screen. It needs work. But I will say that there a lot of he's been playing for a while and he's still only scratching the surface about the game mechanics that are in this thing. So like I said, you can spread this stuff out and make it even longer. Just look how far I got with one little tiny mechanic in a handful of rooms.
Look at all those
Wow.
sparklies. That's kind of
Yeah.
neat.
I'm wondering when it's gonna start to affect performance a little, maybe.
I'm wondering if you die without turning into a ghost, if it would clean them all up, but maybe not.
Can try that, like you said, if there's an opportunity.
Okay, so I introduced the idea that you can actually go through walls when you're a ghost. He couldn't progress until he figured that out. And then I immediately threw him into this crazy labyrinth puzzle. That's insane. I I need to spread that out. But again, this is the prototype. You kind of have to cram it all in to show off what the game is capable of, the potential. But again, I still probably would have padded it out a little bit more had I had the benefit of hindsight. Fun fact, the Game Jam version has this room almost identical. I took the room that is in that version of the game and kind of just remade it for this because I liked it, but it is a little too hard for this stage of the game. I don't know if I would spread pieces of this out or just say like this is your final challenge for going through the walls. It's something I'd have to think about, but based on this feedback, I think this is too early. Although in retrospect, he didn't really get stuck, so maybe it's not too hard.
Oh, how low did it go? Hmm. 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 Hmm.
Oh, we've got a stumper.
I'm thinking, yeah. I do appreciate what it requires of my brain, just because I'm trying to analyze this and it's
But you're
moving me up and down.
analyzing it based on what you know you're capable of, which I really like. That's by design. I
Yeah.
want you to know what your character is capable of doing.
Because I'm assuming I'm just going to turn into a human, and I can't go through that wall. Um,
Yeah, so I'm glad he's kind of stuck here. Again, I would make this later because I didn't know it was going to be that hard. But I am glad he is thinking about it and trying to figure it out. It's the intended experience.
unless I press it over
Oh,
here. No. What?
Okay, the video kind of glitched up, but that's a bug. He shouldn't be jolting around when he jumps on that. Moving platforms and platformers are tough, especially up and down. I need to address that.
How did I do that?
yeah, that's just not supposed to happen. But
Well, I mean, nothing
I
really
know why it's
broke.
happening. It's just I think the platform's going too fast, so
I'm just
your
trying to
jump
figure.
isn't keeping up.
It's like, yeah, It's when it's coming up and I'm pressing jump, and I was pressing down too. Let me see if, yeah, it's just jump. Wondering if like seeing what that's gonna. I was afraid I was gonna get stuck in a wall.
So he got stuck here. There's no way out of that. Clearly, that's not intentional. But good thing is, though, when you're making a game for people to play, make sure that if there is an entire possibility that they're going to run into a wall, not a literal one, but they get stuck and they can't progress. If that's the case, put in something that allows them to reset without having to close the game all the way down. In my case, and I'm sure he does it, you can go in and do a restart at checkpoint, and he'll just start it at the start of this room, and that's not a big deal. Obviously, I'll go in there and fix this this blocker when it's time to develop, but make sure that they don't have to. Because if he were to start over, he would have to play this whole thing over again. Not okay.
Uh-oh, you might be super duper stuck. I think that
Yeah.
platform needs to be lower. All right, so hit start, whatever your equivalent to start is, and you're gonna have to click restart at checkpoint with the mouse.
Also, the game controller isn't implemented on.
No, not yet. I mean, it is,
Okay.
but it doesn't highlight one for some reason yet. So
And the sparklies remain, in
yeah.
case you were wondering.
Well, I was.
Question is, can a ghost be hurt? Probably not.
Intended experience.
Run. Hmm. Okay, yeah, that is a one chance deal. I see. I was like, is it going to come all the way over? Yes, it probably is.
That one's on him, I think.
Bad
That
timing.
one was also on him. I still think this room is too hard. Just,
You are dying like the ideal amount.
Yeah, and
I want you to kind of. I don't want it to be a cakewalk, but I also don't want you to be bashing your head against it. So,
right.
oh, that was tight.
Um, a break.
I will say there is a break in this level as well. I got to fix that you fortunately did not exploit, but it is there.
Don't even know if I'm.
yeah, I didn't even notice that until I just said it in the video. There is a spot right over here that needs a light on it, or else you could fly off into nothingness. You gotta fix that stuff.
Supposed to go up or right. So
Ah!
I was tempted to try and jump up there, but barely escaped the temptation.
All right, so here he
All right,
unlocks
Margot's
wall jump.
flashing another. Okay, but these are notes for you.
Yeah, they're just placeholder. This is what in theory is going to happen via voice acting and stuff like that.
Okay, so the main mechanic here is that you can wall jump now. The ghost helps you wall jump, so you can't wall jump while you're in the light. If that was not clear.
It's spatially contiguous and all that. Very. So if that's not going to do me any good.
Just do me a favor. Jump up against that blank spot on the wall and hold against the wall. Okay, good.
This is we implemented the.
Okay, I wish I didn't ask him to do that, but I think I was just curious if it was busted because he wasn't figuring it out. I probably should have given him more time to try because there was literally no way to proceed without figuring that out. So.
I see. So I can't wall jump in the light. I take it.
Yeah, and that effect that's happening is working as intended right now. But boy, if you mess around with it too much, it's it goes kind of wacky. It's supposed to be like, hey, just so you know, you can't do that right now because you're in the
Yeah,
light. And I very desperately want that to work, but with double jump especially, it goes crazy, and you do
and
not
you
have.
want it even without touching the wall.
No, I don't.
Okay. Just a footnote then. um, oh, fun. I'll have to be coordinated to do this now. Yep. Phew.
All right, so to be clear, this is the last level.
Okay.
All right, I told him this was the last level, and that's okay because he needs to be prepared that it's going to abruptly stop. There's a lot more to this game. There's quite a few more mechanics that have not been introduced, but this is what I had developed at the time. And like I said, you need to be showing early and often. And I learned a lot. Even watching this again, I learned a lot. There's still things I would change. And all right, I'm gonna cut a lot of this out. He gets stuck here for a really long time. Last level, whatever. But he shouldn't be this. He's stuck not only on how to figure it out, but also on pulling it off. So this is a cool idea. I would make this easier and make it a lot later in the game. Once it goes live, I will make it much later in the game. And I think that's just about it.
We'll say that
Let's
is
skip to
the
the end.
closest you've gotten.
Yeah. It's. Hey. I wonder if I'm gonna make that or not. Well, one way to find out. Hey. Duh.
All right, that's it. That's all there is to it.
Okay, him saying "duh" was actually good because it's like, oh yeah, duh. I know I have the ability to do this. I know my character is capable of doing this. That's not a bad thing. If they know they messed up and they're not blaming the game, that's a good thing. And that is it. Let's see how we converse at the end. Actually, there's only 4 seconds left.
Phew.
Yep, just abruptly ends. But that's amazing watching that again. I learned a lot when he did that. It has definitely shaped at least my level design stuff because and bugs, whatever, we're gonna deal with those as they come, no matter who finds them. But it's really good to pacing and design and all that stuff. Am I on the right track? Is the player having the intended experience? In a lot of cases, he was. He said out loud, which I was very. I mean, he's a really good playtester because he was saying out loud what he was feeling, and in a lot of cases, he was saying exactly what I wanted him to feel. But in certain cases, he was also not having the intended experience. He was getting stuck. There was stuff that was thrown at him too quickly. That is something that I have taken into development, and in the final game it will be spread out much better. The pacing will be much better, and I'm going to have more people play it and have the exact same thing. As I refine it, I'll have him play it again and see how it has improved. This is what I'm talking about. It is vital for you to get feedback and watch people play test if you can, because you don't know what your game is until someone else that hasn't made it gets their hands on it. So that is my big thing for you today. And with that, thank you so much for watching. If you have watched this far, I'm amazed, but you're great and you're amazing and you make me happy. So feel good about that. Please wishlist Incorporeal on Steam. If it wasn't clear if the prototype did anything for you, great, go wishlist it. If it hasn't, it's only getting better. It has gotten better. The art style is getting better, everything. And I'm going to show all that stuff off. So please go wishlist that and it will be worth your time. I promise you. Real quick, does asking you to like, comment, and subscribe do anything for you? Does that spring you into action? I hate asking that stuff, but it would help me out if you did it. So if you want to like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff, hit the notification bell. Again, I just feel so gross saying it, but if you feel like doing it, go for it. I probably won't ask very much. Or if I do, I'll ask it in this way. And a surprising amount of you have already watched that despite not saying that stuff, so thank you. And there's even quite a few wish lists, so I really appreciate that. You're in good company if you wish list my game. Thank you to the wife and the kids and friends, including HoloNet, or not HoloNet, New Game Dev. He changed it. SEO, not great, but at least he's here and his link is appropriate. New Game Dev, he's a friend of mine. He's a great play tester, if you couldn't tell, and he's a really good game developer, and he makes cool tutorial videos. Go check him out. And what would you like to see covered next? Did this do anything for you? I found this to be a lot of fun. I would like to do more of this. I could even do it with real games or your games if you want. Send them my way. I'll do it. But otherwise, tell me what you want covered. I'll talk about anything. I'll take your feedback into consideration. Yeah? Feedback would be great. And that's going to do it. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time. Bye.